So, when should you stop drawing a line? I guess it kind of depends. Now, if you ever watched my video on my daily warming up routine, I try to practice all drawing using my shoulder. The reason for that, which I learned from Drawbox, is to for the widest arc of motion. So, so you can draw really large, even though I missed that point. And the purpose is getting comfortable for drawing for long periods of time. I mean, obviously you like it and you want to do it, so you want to be able to draw for as long as possible. And the problem with drawing really small with your wrist is your wrist eventually gets tired out, and you can't, you have to take more breaks if you just use your wrist. But if you could use your shoulder, I mean, it's endless. I feel like it's a lot more comfortable to use. Um, I mean, I guess like for extreme detail work, you would use your wrist, but you may even be able to get away with using your shoulder for it, anyways. But if you have more complex examples of things, like let's take a box for example. Now, boxes, I feel like you could execute them in chunks, which I think is the best way to do it. Because if you try to like do it without really planning so much, there's a lot you can mess up on if you're trying to go for any type of accuracy. Like, I made a lot of egregious mistakes there, but I drew it all in one go. This may be more of like an artist decision that you may have to decide for yourself, because I want to say I've seen art in which people would plan drawing something more complex, then they would draw it all at once. Like they would start a line and they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't take their pencil off the page until they completed the thing. There was an old art book on figure drawing that I read a long time ago. Um, I wish I could remember the name of it now. But basically, what you would do is when you would do gesture drawing, the whole exercise, like if you were drawing like a man, for example, it didn't want you taking your pen off the page. So you would do kind of something like, I'm totally screwing it up, but you would kind of do something like that, and the whole idea was to kind of like block in all of the forms properly without taking your pencil off the page. And I have no doubt that it was meant to teach something special, but like personally, I never liked that way of doing stuff. And also, this is a very bad example, but I just wanted to show that I do believe it is possible to execute works all in one. Like, this is a really bad example. I mean, usually if I would ever do a gesture drawing, I would execute it in a series of lines. Like, I don't have any reference on me. I'm just trying to think. Like, usually when it comes to drawing men, they're very blocky. So you see I just drew a circle, then I just drew a like the chin, and sometimes even like the forehead is blocky. I'm just trying to give an example, and usually like, I mean, I just wanted to give like a quick I should have had reference with me here, but usually, oh, I just can't think of the shape. But you could always build things up as a series, and I think doing that is a good way to go. But if you were gonna maybe say color something, building up, I definitely think is the way to go before coloring. And but unless you want your specific style to focus on just using one line to execute everything, then I would say go that way. Now, I remember another method in which if you have a lot of like jagged lines, like let me draw like a quick leaf. or what I think a leaf would look like. You're never gonna see a leaf like that. Leaves are never like rounded like that. They always have these little jagged edges or something like that. So you could use your wrist to connect it, and basically like using your wrist or shoulder if you want to. If I was drawing larger, I'd be able to do that a lot better. But you know, you're basically you'd be looking at your reference and kind of building up these individual blades. I'm not really sure what purpose they serve, but it's something. So as I was doing it, I was kind of doing them in sections with my wrist, but you know, eventually I get too far and I can't extend my wrist anymore. So you may have to decide that you're going to do it in smaller chunk sections. So I guess a lot of it is up to what you feel most comfortable with, and maybe also getting a feel for how you would like to do it. You may have to, like, if you're doing a certain exercise, following it through with how they say to do it could be a good idea. Oops. I never drew that box. So, yeah, I guess it's a lot of more like an accumulation of knowledge for how you want to do it and what you feel is most comfortable for accomplishing your goals. I have to think. The other thing I realized is getting comfortable with drawing different varieties of stuff. So like different line widths. You kind of have to just get in the flow. You may even have to practice a little bit before you decide to draw something you want to draw to get a feel for when you want to end the execution of a line. But yeah, I want to do this box real quick. A bit too thick, and I kind of was off. But I think plotting points can help you go really far if you're doing inorganic stuff, but personally I have always have felt that if you're doing organic things, drawing from them, trying to execute lines in chunks goes a lot farther, just in my opinion. Like trying to get the whole object, like when I've been drawing the box here, I've been kind of like breaking it out by either plotting it and then executing like a certain line. But like when I just realized when I drew the leaf here, even though it's not really finished, when I drew the leaf here, I executed the overall shape in one go, and then I was trying to do the other ridging of the leaf in smaller sections. And even when I did this person here, I was blocking the shapes. I wasn't plotting all the points before I do that. And the more I look at that, I have an egg off screen, and I just, oops, that's right. I've just always felt, well, it's still not good. I don't draw eggs that much. They're really hard to draw. But I've always felt that, yeah, drawing organic stuff, I feel like there's more feeling to it rather than trying to plot a bunch of points. Like, I could try to plot points for an egg, but I have to say, I feel like it's something more intuitive. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I was off because I didn't go short enough. I thought it was going to make it look weird if I followed that through. But I guess do what makes you feel comfortable. I mean, don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone, but just know that, like, I think grasping an intuitive sense of drawing organic stuff will help you a lot more, just in my opinion. But yeah, I want to finish up this box. Because it's like, I feel like I can't draw a box unless I plot out the points. Like, just going, like, I really have to think about the individual lines that make up the box. And I always kind of have to try to ghost towards implied vanishing points. it's just one of those things that I just, you know, I mean, I tried to draw a box before without plotting the points, and it was crap, but every little bit is working towards it. So I guess it really depends for what you want to draw. I mean, who knows, maybe if you do thousands or 10,000s of boxes, you could pick it up in an intuitive sense, so you don't have to plot it, and you kind of know that you have the general idea of how it ought to be, if that makes sense. But yeah, I want to leave it at that. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. But yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.